And so undo this thing, start with your internal cable. You got some problems here. Welcome to the video. We have Chris Froome. Now this is why people are so confused. This is why people are confused as heck. With low carb diet propelled Chris Froome. So people out there, I have conversations with diet and nutrition a lot. You know, being vegan, nutrition always comes up. People, nutrition experts, once they hear you're a vegan. Anyway, so we've got low carb diet propels Chris Froome the Tour de France titles. This is diabetes.co.uk, so it's a website. Gets a bit of traffic. British cyclist Chris Froome won his third Tour de France on Sunday. Key part of his preparation was eating a low carb diet. In fact, Froome insists there's a low carb diet in 2012 that helped his cycling career. Well, I think it's something else he used back in 2012 that launched his career. Actually, 2011 at the Vuelta. But Cadence, he now it's a protein-based diet, so profoundly reducing his. So anyone with half a brain knows this is absolute bunk. It's bollocks. It's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. But the average reader who got no idea about cycling, power, glucose-derived ATP, doping in sport, running, swimming, all soccer, World Cup, doping, etc., would read this and go, wow, I need to eat more bacon and eggs, and I shouldn't eat so much rice that I don't even eat anyway. And the reason why I am obese isn't because of the bacon, eggs, McDonald's, it's actually the steamed rice, broccoli, peaches, mangoes, bananas that I never eat. So they read this stuff. Anyway, let's look at the truth. So we fast forward to today, 2018, BBC, big black cat is on the BBC. Team Sky's unprecedented release of. So it shows now that Chris Froome is actually carving the fuck up. So he's got this thing. So Haribo, all right? Haribo is a confectionery company. They don't yet do vegan lollies. They do a vegetarian lolly that has beeswax in it, which is like, oh my god, that's another whole video in itself. Why can't you just make it vegan? Just a little bit extra. Make it vegan. Open up to millions and millions of customers. Anyway, so we have the Haribo. So this is Team Sky high tech. This is high tech nutrition. This is what fuels Chris Froome. Now, if you're not aware already, I am a fan of Chris Froome. I've ridden with him a few times. The guy, in my opinion, seems very down to earth. So many riders, even I know amateur riders, they get a bit of watts per kilo and they become these dickheads. But Chris Froome, being the superstar he is, relatively very, very approachable, down-to-earth guy, and so I hope he continues that. Some other Sky riders become total wankers, pro riders, amateurs, whatever. They get some speed or fame recognition and become these toss pots. But Chris Froome still seems to be the nice guy in my personal interactions with him. So Chris, thumbs up there. Keep it up. Anyway, this is the Team Sky nutrition. This is the high-tech, the Tour de France. Chris Froome is the most hardcore cyclist on the planet in terms of watts per kilo right now. Nobody's beaten Chris Froome when Chris Froome wants to race. No one can keep up with his pace. It's like a brick in the face. Anyway, so we have a smoothie. We've got 70 grams of rec. We don't know what that is. We've got Haribo. So lollies, cherry. Actually, probably cherry flavored syrup or whatever. 400 grams rice with syrup. 4 bananas. So there's no eggs, avocado, oil in there. All right, this is a recovery. We've got 430 grams of sugars there, of carbs. All right, 40 grams of fat, so relatively low fat. Anyway, so we have. We'll flick past all the doping allegations, all that drama. We know that it's pro sport. We know that drugs is what it takes to win anything, these days. It's such high demands for the tennis players, the runners, the swimmers, the cyclists, the soccer players. And if you're at the top and you don't dope, you won't cope. Anyway, so we've got a few people giving opinions here. What is the fuel? And so we have the high carbohydrate breakfast on bike. So, this article here says low carb diet is the reason why Chris is successful. And then we've got this article from the BBC, the Big Black Cat, saying that it's the carbs. And it's, juice, 400 grams of rice, egg whites, pancakes of jam, green tea. So we know there's no carbs in egg whites. I don't even know why they're eating egg whites. Like, the risk of salmonella poisoning, this is just an old school tradition they've got. Like, what in an egg gives you performance? Nothing. There's nothing in an egg that your body doesn't manufacture that you can't get from other foods. This is, it's just an old school tradition. They just, it's just this, got to have a bit of protein because you don't want to get too skinny. But then people are doing corticosteroids to get really lean. But the eggs are bulking food. So why would you eat a bulking food and take a drug like Kenacort, etc., which strips you down? It doesn't make any sense. It's like, throwing mud on your windows and then cleaning them off with some special cleaner. It's like, why just don't throw the mud on there? Don't eat the eggs. You won't need as much drugs to get lean. And look at me. Look how lean I am all year long, regardless of fitness. The girls I coach, the people I coach, long term. Look at them all. They're all fucking lean, regardless of fitness levels. Anyway, on the race, he's doing 14 gels and 2 rockets. What's a rocket? A rocket is, apparently, it's extra sugar. It's an extra sugar water mix. So this is pretty interesting that Chris Froome is taking my advice, finally. And he's 1.3 kilos of carbs. You know, stage 19, 1.3. That's a fucking shit ton of sugar. I mean, have I ever done 1.3 grams of sugar in a day of carbs? Yeah, I probably have, but that's a lot. You need a voracious appetite to get that into you. Voracious appetite to get into you. So anyway, so what we see now is that Chris Froome, is carbing the fuck up. He is carbing the fuck up massively, and the power output as well. So he's doing, 24 minutes. It looks like, is that 24 minutes at 450 watt? So he's just chewing through the carbs there. And look at his carb intake, every 20 minutes. 60 grams and 30 grams, then 100 grams. So every 20 minutes, he's taken on, 100, is that right? 100 grams of carbs? He is. Wow. 100 grams every 20 minutes, just gulping them back. So he's taking on he's eating a shit ton on the bike, isn't he? 100 grams per 20 minutes. So that's like 300 grams of carbs. He took on 330 grams of carbs. Is that expenditure or is that fueling? No, it's not really clear there. I'm not sure exactly there. Let me know. Do you think that's what he took on the climb, or what he expended? Because you're burning a lot more. If you're riding at 400 watts, you're doing 1,000 calories an hour. So who knows? It's very vague. The maths doesn't add up. Look at this maths up here. Look at this. 109 grams of carbs times 4. What's that? 8. That's 760 or whatever. Plus 120. You know what I mean? That doesn't matter. The maths doesn't add up there. 9 calories per gram of fat. 32 times 9 is like 270 or whatever it is. Those maths don't add up. This doesn't add up. What adds up is carbon the fuck up. That adds up. So this graph here, even I don't even fully understand it, and I'm a fucking nutrition fucking tech wizard dude. So it's very, very vague. Full document. Let's go to the full document. Maybe I'm making an assumption here. So anyhow, that just shows to show 1.3 grams of carbs. 1.3 kilos of carbs in stage 19. So if you don't understand anything in this video, the basis is, they said over here, low carb diet was what Chris Froome did. We see the truth here. Team Sky released data, and it's actually the carbohydrate. Let's zoom in on this bad boy here. Let's zoom in on up here. So sufficiently well fueled and hydrated to deliver close to best 24 effort on the climb. So the watts is maybe a little bit less because of the altitude. So there we go. Key points of ending stage. Start stage of full take of gas. It's all this stuff. There's nothing here about eating lots of protein and fats. It's just carbohydrate. It's just Natasha's over here drinking. She got sugar in her mouth. So yeah, it's like even relatively easy phrase. Utilize carbs. 1 piece of food per 20 minutes is bare minimum. So they're getting drummed into each other. Carb the fuck up. Team Sky, carb the fuck up. Carb the fuck up. Carb the fuck up. Anyway, I would a bit more of a look into this in terms of if that was, are they taking that in per 20 minutes? That's like 300 grams of carbs per hour, which is, it's not too much. You can't have too many carbs. I was just thinking of terms of like, that's just like really interesting data. Anyway, I'm going to flip through it. Bottom line, Chris Froome isn't doing low carb. He's carbing the fuck up. If I could coach Chris Froome, then I could get him leaner than he is now because he's eating the eggs, and I still see there's a bit of whey protein in there. So it's like, and I see in the off season, Chris Froome isn't as lean as I am. So people always say, Harley, you're only lean because you do a lot of cycling, which is untrue because but then why is Chris Froome heavier than me? Why does he look puffier than me in the off season? Why is that? If he does a zillion more miles than I do, which is true, then why is Chris Froome puffier and fatter than me in the off season than I am, and I do less miles? It's dietary choices there, right? So if I was coaching Chris Froome, I could get him a lot faster than he is now because I get him leaner without starvation or whatever. Because if you cut your carbs and go and try and train, you can't perform. This is the whole thing of, oh, no, they cut their carbs in training. It's like, well, you try and do 400 watts in training on no carbs. You know, you can't. You can't. So, you know, how are you going to do 400 watts in training, you know, that you can't do, and then I'm magically going to do it in racing? That's like me pulling up the local race. I'm doing 200 watts every ride. Oh, guys, I'm getting dropped. And then at the race, I do 400 watts for an hour. Everyone's going to go, you're an EPO, bro. You're an EPO. I can't say, oh, no, I'm eating some carbs. It doesn't work that way. What you do in training is only what you can do in racing. If you can't do it in training, you know, or close to that, you can't do it in racing. Sure, racing's got extra stimulus, etc., but if you can't do 400 watts for an hour in training, then how the fuck are you going to do that in racing? You're not going to be able to do that. So this whole notion that they don't eat carbs during training is just fucking bullshit, because if you can't do 400 watts, then you can't adapt to the training demands, the racing demands rather. Your training doesn't meet the racing demands. So if your training doesn't meet the racing demands, then you're not going to be able to do it in racing unless you're doping. But even then, let's say you're not doping, let's say you are doping, you still need to run at 400 watts in training on EPO to be able to do 400 watts in a race on EPO. Right? You can't just train at 300 watts or 200 watts under carb and magically go 400. It doesn't work that way. Anyone with a power meter understands that. Anyone who's used EPO or drugs understands that. You need to carb the fuck up to push the watts. Anyway, end of story. Chris Froome, high carb the fuck up. We'll do some more vids on it. Leave a comment down below. If you want to see more vids like this, give it a thumbs up. If you don't want to see more vids like this, give it a thumbs down. And we'll see you. Tour de France is about to start tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Chris Froome's going to win again. He's going to carb the fuck up doing it.
Carbs, carb the fuck up, motherfuckers. Carb the fuck up. Corn, rice, potatoes, yams, bananas, mangoes, dates, plantains, melons, blueberries, blackberries, mulberries. Get them motherfucking carbohydrates in. Go vegan, motherfuckers. Carb the fuck up, the fuck up, the fuck up.